So let's go ahead and bring in Republican Mayor Douglas Nicholls of Yuma, Arizona. Mayor, we know that your city is just 7 miles from the border. The official word from the White House right now is that illegal immigration is actually down since Biden's executive order. Are you seeing a drop in your city?
We have seen a drop. We're down this last fiscal year. We had about 54,000 people coming through the Yuma sector border itself. However, because Tucson and San Diego are still very busy, Border Patrol surged another 53,000 people here for processing. So we're still seeing over 100,000 people. But, you know, when we compare that to what we deem as normal, it's still at 5 times, 10 times higher than what we would expect for a year.
We also know that Trump has only made 3 stops in your state this election season. He leads in the state by a very small margin. Do you think that he should be focusing more of his energy on Arizona rather than California right now?
Well, Arizona is definitely a swing state. It's something that he needs to make sure is in his strategy discussions, and I'm sure it is. I think Arizona is a very important state, but to be here, we always welcome him here to Arizona, but the strategy is greater than Arizona.
Let's talk the border. So Harris has promised a comprehensive immigration reform, while Trump, on the other hand, plans to deport thousands of illegal immigrants. Trump leads just by 1 percentage point. Does this mean that voters in Arizona are less focused on the border? What does this mean?
No, I'm not exactly sure I haven't analyzed the electorate this go around. However, there's a lot of things on the ballot, a lot of things that are bringing different voters to the polls. And so I think that's probably a lot of the decision. But I think Arizonans as a whole realize that Vice President Harris over the last 4 years, has ignored the state and the border particularly. And I don't believe any of us believe that'll change when she gets in office.
You know, Harris visited the border at the end of September. Do you think that was enough?
Oh, no. I mean, you can't ignore the border for 3.5 years and then pretend that you can visit it once or twice. It's such a complex issue, and every section of the border is so different that going to one section of the border is only going to one section of the border. You need to go to Texas, you need to go to California, and you need to go to different parts in Arizona, because Yuma experiences it differently than Tucson, which experiences differently than El Paso, and on down the whole border. So one visit is not sufficient to make up for 3.5 years of neglect.
Well, we know that Harris has also really spoken about cracking down on illegal immigration. She's spoken about prosecuting illegal border crossings, building the wall. Do you think that she's really just trying to get votes here? Or do you believe that this is her real intentions if she is in fact elected?
Well, since this is new information that she has just come up with in the last couple of weeks since she's been the nominee, yeah, I believe this is just the ploy to get elected, saying the things that she knows the country wants to hear. But if she had truly believed these as elements of what she thinks needs to get done, she would have been here on the border. She would have been more vocal, at least meeting with local leaders. I've never had an opportunity to meet with her to discuss the situation. However, I have requested those meetings and have never been afforded those opportunities.
All right, same question, different candidate. Is Trump's promise to deport a mass number of illegal migrants, is that just campaign trail talk? Do you believe that's in fact going to come to fruition if he is elected?
Well, I believe if you look at the way the system is put together, it will deport a large number of people once they get through the legal process. What we have with President Trump is the ability to look back to see what he did during his presidency. In Yuma in 2019, we had a large surge come through. Within weeks, I had a direct one-on-one conversation with him in his office and the secretary. I walked out with solutions. Weeks later, we had executive orders that made true differences. And within 3 to 5 months, the situation was back under control. And so I think when you look at his record on the border and her record on the border, there's a huge gap between those two elements of experience.
Douglas Nicholls, Yuma, Arizona Mayor, we appreciate your time.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.